Hello, horror lovers. Today I'm going to be bringing you a list of 10 mermaid horror films. These are perfect to check out while avoiding the summer heat. If you don't know yet, my name is Lacey and I love horror of all kinds, whether it be video games, books, comics, and movies, of course, TV shows. I love it all. And if you have any recommendations for a list or anything you would like me to cover, I am more than happy to do so. I just would love for a follow, a subscribe, a share, a like, a comment. I would just love to hear from all of you. All right, so why mermaids? Well, in folklore from all over the world, tales have been told about how sirens use their songs and their beauty to bewitch men before dragging them down to mysterious fathoms below. Seriously, these tit fishes are pure evil, which is why I've always wanted to be one. I did need to cheat a little bit for this list, so don't come at me in the comments telling me that some of these aren't traditional mermaids. I agree, but this is my channel, so deal with it. Coming in at number 10, we have Lady in the Water. Released in 2006, this M. Night Shyamalan flop is about an apartment complex superintendent who rescues a girl from a pool. He soon discovers that he and his tenants are fated to help save the world by protecting and safely transporting the girl back to her home. This convoluted shared destiny is made even more difficult due to a wolf-like being trying and succeeding to stop them. Obviously, this isn't about a traditional mermaid, but she is a water nymph and her home is called the Blue World, so I put it on this list. I know this film gets a lot of hate and it's definitely more fantasy than it is horror, and I still actually really enjoy this film. You can actually watch this one on YouTube right now. Coming in at number 9, we have Mamula, also known as Killer Mermaid or Nymph. This film was released in 2014, and it is about two American tourists who stumble upon a siren's lair at the bottom of a military fort. It was filmed and takes place on the actual island in the Mediterranean called Mamula, which has a pretty dark history even on its own. It did have a military fort, and that fort was actually converted into a concentration camp during World War II. Back in 2016, the island was sold and made into a private resort. While they do mention the island's history in the film, they completely wasted the opportunity they had on a crappy creature feature. You don't care about the characters that they're picked off, and the ending is a lead up to what would have been a better film, before ending it abruptly. However, I didn't hate the creature design, which we know I have a soft spot for. This film is streaming on Peacock, Tubi, Freevee, and Plex. For number 8, we have She Creature, a made-for-TV film from 2001. Made for Cinemax, this film is about two carnies that steal a mermaid and bring her aboard a ship with plans to make her a freak show attraction. Pretty much everyone aboard the ship dies due to the mermaid's ability to possess them. She then escapes and transforms into her true monstrous self, which happens to be Queen of the Lair. She had also possessed the captain to steer the ship to her home, where she intends to feed the rest of the crew to her people. While the speed of this film leaves something to be desired, the creature design for this one is pretty wicked as well. I also liked the claustrophobic atmosphere due to being trapped aboard a ship with a sea monster. All right, moving on to number 7, we have Cold Skin, released in 2017. In this film, an unnamed man arrives on an island in the South Atlantic to study weather. After meeting the lighthouse caretaker, he learns that at night the island is frequently attacked by aquatic humanoid creatures. Then, blah blah blah, humans are the real monsters, blah 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 cliche, and blah 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 depressing full circle ending. This film is based on a novel by Albert Sanchez Pinol, and unfortunately, the concept has been done many times, only a whole lot better. And while the visuals are striking, they aren't enough to make the film stand out. And once again, these technically aren't mermaids, but you guys are definitely gonna cut me some slack, so it's fine. It is streaming on Tubi and Plex. Number 6 is Dagan, released in 2001. This film is based on a character created by H.P. Lovecraft. In the film, several tourists accidentally find themselves in a town full of fish people who worship Dagan, a Syrian prosperity god. In return for human sacrifices, Dagan grants the town enormous wealth through fish and gold. One of the tourists has an odd connection to the place and has a destiny to face when dark secrets are revealed. Dagan is a fairly well-respected Lovecraft adaptation, though some feel that at times it's a little too over the top, but they managed to pull it off pretty well. Once again, they aren't typical mermaids, but
whatever, I do what I want.
You can find this one on Plex, Voodoo, and Tubi. Moving on to number 5, we have Mermaid Down, released in 2019. The plot of this one is about a mermaid who is captured, then cut in half. Her human half grows legs, and she is detained at a mental institution. She eventually grows her tail back after escaping and then gets revenge on her captor. This film is just genuinely good. You care about the characters on screen, while it hides its commentary on the treatment of women by men with power in the healthcare field. And while this may not be super scary, the storyline is pretty dark. And you can check this out on Peacock, Tubi, Plex, and Freevee. Next, for number 4, we have Blew My Mind. Released in 2018, this film is about a teen girl who starts to go through unexpected changes after moving to a new town. Spoiler, she's a mermaid. This is Disney's The 13th Year, only more visceral. So while trying to fit in with the popular kids, she also has to contend with a new craving for fish, her toes fusing together, and dark bruising spreading up her legs. This film is truly a hidden gem and it deserves a watch. You can find it on Tubi, Voodoo, and Freevee. For number 3, we have Zooby, released last year in 2022, where a group of women get together in South Louisiana to run from their problems and reconnect. They try to summon Zooby, a voodoo swamp mermaid goddess, for protection. When the ritual seemingly fails, their vacation becomes a fight for survival, and their ritual may have worked better than they originally thought. So, swamp mermaids. Why not, I guess? Regardless of the simple story plot and the low budget, this film is a ton of fun to watch, and it's streaming on Tubi and Fubo. So for the number 2 spot, we have The Lure, a horror movie musical from 2015. This film has actually already made it onto one of my lists, but I don't mind a bit of redundancy. In the film, 2 mermaid sisters come onto dry land to join a cabaret. Things go well at first, but one of the sisters falls in love with a human and has surgery to replace her tail with human legs, while the other sister is struggling to suppress her appetite for human flesh. I really like the atmospheric changes throughout this film, and I love the super brutal retelling of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. This is currently streaming on Max. Alright, for our number 1 spot, we have The Shape of Water from 2017. In this film, a mute woman in Baltimore falls in love with an amphibious creature who was captured and brought to the secret government lab where she works as a cleaning lady. After finding out the government's plans for the creature, she helps it to escape and hides him in her apartment bathtub until a heavy rain would connect a nearby canal to the sea. While it's hard to call this one horror, the sci-fi presence of an unknown aquatic creature still makes it count for the most part. This film is adorable and I love it, even with the humans are the real monsters trope so frequently seen in creature features. You can watch this one on Hulu and Fubo TV. Alright, that's all I got for this week. Just remember, if you are near water and you hear an ethereal voice calling to you, drawing you near, it's already too late. You've become prey for one of these dangerous but beautiful creatures. Bye-bye!
I wish to make love to you.
Oh, no, thank you.
I like your tail.
Oh, you're sweet. I like those wiggly doodads coming out of your hips.
Oh, thanks. They're called pants.
I am Mr. Nimbus.
He's gonna say that a lot.
Ladies, the legends do not do you justice.